Hi, Core 180. Welcome to week 10. We have weeks 10, 11, 12, and then we are done with this class. So the end is actually very much in sight. You have two major projects that you're working on right now still. You need to read True Grit, the entire novel, before the end, and you're going to be doing a multi-genre research project, which we'll talk about in just a second. So this week we're starting True Grit. Our goal this week is to... I've got a kid kicking the table. Lovely, isn't it? Stop. Is to read sections 1 through 3 of here. If your page numbers are like mine, I believe that's through like page 69. I think that's the right one, but it's the first 3 sections. The sections are not labeled. They're just blank spots in between. So you'll be able to see. It's pretty easy to see. Do grab the learning guide because you don't just read through it straight through. I have you read some background stuff, doing some other activities, and then reading a section, some more background. We are going to be focusing on this week those 3 sections and then really be thinking about the historical and cultural context of this. So this book was written in the late 1960s, which puts it in its own certain thing. That's when it was written. And it takes place in much, post-Civil War West. So that you've got those things going on. You may even want to think about what would an author in the late 1960s with all the political upheaval, what do they have in common with someone pretty quickly after the Civil War? Why might that be an interesting subject area for Charles Portis, being as he's writing in the late 60s? So think about that. Also think a lot about just what's going on. What is it like to live in America post-Civil War? Did I say World War II? Civil War. What is that like to live in the post-Civil War when your country's been kind of ripped apart and now people are, kind of coming back together? You have all these guys who had served in the war, ex-soldiers. What does life look like for them? Why is the West a place for them to go? So read through that. I think I have you watching the trailer for the 2010 movie to kind of get you into it, give you some faces, and sometimes that's helpful. When you're done with the novel, I completely recommend the 2010 version. I think it's a phenomenal movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I adore the Coen brothers, who I believe made that one. So first 3 sections, doing lots of background stuff. You're going to do an additional discussion board, and you'll see there's a section for that. Basically on that, I just have you posting what kind of information you've discovered about the background and the context. You don't have to do that by Thursday. You do that by next Monday. You don't have to respond to anyone. Just go back and look at what other people have found significant. You'll also do a regular discussion board like we normally do. So that's True Grit. Lots of background, cultural context. Enjoy it. This is not a difficult read. If you own the book, I recommend reading with pen and hand. Make notes to yourself. On the learning guide, I put some questions to think about as you're reading each of those sections. So that's this. If you run stuck, you're confused, you're having trouble getting that done, let me know, but I think you'll be no problems on that. The other really big thing that we're working on for the next 3 weeks is our multi-genre project. So here's where you're going to have to listen carefully. This is where there is some room for confusion. You're going to select a topic, and I have listed under the assignment sheet some possible topics. Try to expand it more than just simply an author. Okay, so Shakespeare. Well, something about Shakespeare. Maybe it's his use and creation of language. Maybe it's the way Shakespeare borrows from other plays or other stories. Maybe it's his use of the Bible. I don't know. Edgar Allan Poe as the first detective writer. Jane Kenyon writes a lot about depression. Maybe there's something there. She's one of the poets we read. Maybe it's war poetry and the significance. Maybe it's about why sonnets, which are a type of poetry, are important. Maybe you want to look at allegory. You want to look at that. We read Young Goodman Brown, Where You Going, Where Have You Been? Maybe you want to look at how the Bible influences a certain kind of literature. Or a certain story, or a certain author. You could look at Flannery O'Connor and the idea of redemption. So the idea is to pick something more than just simply a poem or a story, and find something significant about it. There's a whole list of possible ideas on the thing that is just a starting point to think about. Do not have to stick with that. You could expand that. You could take something from one of your earlier papers and kind of blow that up or push that along in a direction. So once you've selected kind of an idea and a topic, then you're going to do some research. Your project will need to have at least 3 sources. You'll probably have more than that. You'll need to find out everything you can about it. And then instead of writing me a research paper, which y'all love doing, you're going to pick 5 genres. And that means 5 different pieces. So I've also given you 2 links to look at all different kinds of genres. So you might write a newspaper article about Edgar Allan Poe publishing his first short story, or a wanted ad for, you know, something to do with Edgar Allan Poe and your topic. There's all sorts of things listed there that you could pick from. So what did I say? Want ads, articles. I think there's some ones are more visual than others if you'd like to go that route. Writing a scene from a play. You could have a poem. You could have a recipe. You could have a playbill, an invitation, a thank you note, journal entries. So this is a much more creative kind of way to do it. Now, obviously, you're going to have a really good sense of your topic in order to do those genres. Okay? So you'll pick 5 genres. And so your final project will include an introduction, which is at least a page, which you just describe, hey, this is my topic, this is why it's important, this is what I wanted to do with it. And then you'll have a table of contents. You'll have 5 genre pieces, so we're at 7 pages, at least 7 pages so far, and a works cited page. Your entire final genre project, at the very, very minimum, bottom of the barrel, will be 8 pages. It may be longer, though, because, for instance, if you're doing a recipe book, you'd have several pages for that one genre. Okay? This week, actually, you have until Wednesday, August 6th, so it gives you a little bit of longer time. You need to select a topic, look at the genres, figure out what kind of genres you want to do some research, and then fill out the genre proposal, multi-genre proposal sheet, which basically says, hey, this is my topic, these are the genres I think I'm going to do. Those can always change. And this is what I'm going to put in those genres, and this is why. I think a want ad is important because of this. So it'll say purpose, which is why you think you should include that genre. And then it'll have content, which is what you're going to cover in it. Doesn't need to be complete sentences. You can literally just jot down, type in ideas briefly. So that's your goal for that this week, is to kind of get that proposal, and you have a little extra time for that. That entire final document will be due the Tuesday after we are done with class. And I don't know the date of that. August something. August. Nothing. This is good TV, right? August 19. There's no exceptions with that. There is no telling me things I need more time. I have to submit my grades, I believe, on the 20th. So if you turn it in the 11:59 on the 19th, there is no wiggle room. Make sure that anything else you have out there, that is sort of that final deadline. I put all the multi-genre resources right above week 10 under True Grit and multi-genre resources, so it's close. You're not having to look all around and scroll all around. Go through all of those and make sure that you understand, have a good thought of them. There's also a rubric of how I'll be grading it. That'll be helpful to do. Really, you're only reading like 69 pages in here and then a few background handouts. It's probably about 3 hours worth of work on True Grit. Your multi-genre project, you need to be spending multi-hours on it this week. So don't sell yourself short. Spend the time on it, because otherwise you're going to run stuck. The plan for True Grit is about 60 pages this week, which is not a lot. Next week, it's 125 pages. There's a lot of reading in here. This is not a bad idea to keep on reading once you get through the first 3 sections, just to kind of keep going and working on that multi-genre project. And those are the big things. That's pretty much it, is we're going through this and doing that. Let me know if you run stuck. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to run topic ideas by me, anything like that, let me know, and we'll see you 3 more weeks, and we are done. We'll see you soon.